and welcome to Process Rules Now. My name is Sophie. I'm head of CS here at Super. Today we're going to dive into process rules, which is a little more of Super. Now, we have Super going on Thursday. That will dig into all the things that we have, including bars, spaces, etc. Today we're going to spend a little more time focusing on process rules, one of the most in-depth on any object inside of HubSpot itself. What am I talking about? Let's go ahead and take a look and dive right in. Now, in today's training, we will walk through examples and then we'll actually build rules ourselves. So you'll have time to get into Super. And so when we build together, you'll be able to ask questions as we go. Now, the chat is open and available. It has a delay on my side, so feel free to jump in there and I'm going to slide. Now, back to the show. What are process rules? Okay. So again, process rules are the ability to actually embed your processes and information, your step-by-step guides, essentially, into an object in HubSpot so that you, as a admin, partner, are able to navigate yourself across every single of the reps instance without answering questions or best next steps. As one of our partners had said, we like our sales reps knowing what to do now and what to do next. Anything after that is complete chaos. And I happen to agree. When you give someone too many steps, they tend to ignore them all. So this is the ability to actually break down step by step. Okay. So what we're looking at here is a deal that has a couple of things wrong with it. Okay. So these are process rules, what you're seeing at the top. Now, this is the ability for me to, as a HubSpot admin, say, this is the information I need to make sure that our reporting is correct, that we're making good decisions on the information that is in our HubSpot, and that you are comfortable and it's self-enabling to get these processes done and done correctly, okay? We make the joke here at Super that your CRM is the most expensive tool in your tool stack, and it's not just because of how much it costs, but because of the important decisions that are being made off of this data, okay? So it needs to be right. Okay. Process rules are also dynamic. So as we go through and I fill out what's happening, and I'll explain each one, we'll be able to update automatically so that I'm able to clean up this deal and move forward. Okay. So a couple different processes that we're going to look here. First off, this company is using MedPick as their sales enablement tool. Now, if you don't know what MedPick is, do not stress. It's not important. It's just what their sales process is. This could be BANT. This could be close. Like it could be any methodology that they're using to help identify their prospects and make sure that this is a good fit solution. Okay. So a couple things. The first thing on here is that who is our competition on the deal? Okay. I'm a newer rep. I'm not familiar with MedPick. Competition in another company meant something else. So I know that I haven't filled this out yet, but I'm not really quite sure what it is. So I'm able to click on more info and understand that competition is the knowledge of the competing vendors in my account, their strengths and weaknesses, and their champions. Okay. Okay. Perfect. You know, that's what it was in the other company too. I just want to make sure that I wasn't missing out. Okay. Now I noticed that my HubSpot admin has actually gone a step further and has actually put some competition questions in here. So now I have some sales enablement tool directly in the deal where I'm working. So I know that, okay, I don't really know how to ask about competition. It's not something at my last job. We had no competition. Like, how do I get to the root of this problem? Okay. Here's some things I can ask. Are you currently using? Great. My HubSpot admin loves me so much. They're giving me all of these tools to succeed. Okay. The thing is, I actually really know that our competition is XYZ portal replicator. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay. I dynamically updated. We were able to get rid of one card and an error. And it also served me a battle card on XYZ portal replicator. Cool. I now don't have to go dig. I don't have to go ask my sales manager how I should position our solution against XYZ portal replicator. I have all the information I need in here, including a video and their products, their strengths, their weaknesses, etc. Fantastic. Okay. So I'm like, just kidding. We have no competitors. I'm going to save that. This goes away. So with that simple one thing, right? Competition's unknown. That actually shows us a couple different things that may be going on in the deal process. And with process rules, I was able to highlight all of them. One, it could just be missing information, right? That you need to be alerted to fill out. 2, you may not know how to handle that situation. So here's some sales enablement tools. And 3, you may just need a clear definition of what competition is so that you could actually properly fill it out. Okay. I was able to achieve all of that by using a process rule. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. A couple other errors where deal type is unknown. Okay. It looks like some automations rely on this field. So also as a partner or as a HubSpot admin, if I have automations that are set in place to make my life easier or make my sales lives easier, I can actually use process rules to tell my team that things will not happen until they fill out information. So for this one, the deal type is unknown. If it's new business, it may move it automatically into a new business pipeline. Or if it's existing business, it may look through our records to see if there's already one there. Okay. Or I'll just say this is existing business for now. Okay. Oh, so I've cleaned that out. I can see that our close date is 7 days away and I'm in an early stage. That's going to tell me that, or it's within 7 days, tells me that maybe my close date is not completely accurate. I still think this is going to close, so I'm just going to keep that there. Okay. Those first 2 rules were looking through the information on the deal itself. But what makes process rules really, really powerful is that Superbird can actually look on any associated object and flag rules there. So this is super, super, super powerful because as your HubSpot admin or someone that's looking at reporting, I may be funneling down based on things that are happening with an associated contacts, information and deal or company or whatever. And so this is a really good way to make sure that my reps or whoever's working on a contact or company or deal or ticket has all the correct information that they need filled out so that we can have a cohesive picture of what's going on. So for example, this first one, there's no contact associated, right? Like how are we going to move through things if there's no contact? Like, okay, so that'll clue to me. Then I need to go through and I'd add Brian Halligan. Okay, good old Brian Halligan. Save. That updated. Okay. And now should be dynamic. There it goes. Okay. Okay. And now it's actually telling me I still have another issue. So again, that cross-object validation is really cool because now it's telling me that an associated object that I have, a contact, its lead status is missing. So again, I'm looking at a deal, but I can tell my reps that their contact, their company, tickets, deals, like whatever associated object, including primary and secondaries, we'll get into that. It's going to mess up our reporting. It's going to mess up something, and they don't have to remember that. So we're going to go to Brian. We're going to update his lead status to open, save. Now we're going to go to that process rule camp. Okay. Now the last thing on here is that my discount is too high. So it would not be approved by accounting. I'm so confused. What do you mean my discount is too high? What do you mean? I can actually look in here and it's giving me how to update the line item discount. So if I get started, I can see, I'm going to open this as my sidebar. It's going to give me step-by-step instructions. So it's going to tell me to go down to line items. Okay. It's telling me to update it. All right. So I need to go down to line items. All right. Oh, yep. 70% discount. Yeah, that's a little high. We're going to go ahead and edit that. It's going to take me in here. It's going to tell me to click on the 70%. Okay. Type in 30. All right. Oops. 30%. Okay. What's next? I have to click save. Fantastic. Okay. It's going to tell me, do I need to update? Yep. Update the deal amount. Fantastic. And I did it. Mark completed. Woo. So I'm going to go back to the deal. And, well, look at that. It's cleared out that line item. I no longer, I'm going to be in violation for finance. They're not going to slow my deal down. They're going to not tell me, get really mad and maybe really ruin my month because I'm trying to get this in by tomorrow. And so if I'm looking at that 30% discount, this is going to ruin my life. But so now we've been able to see that I just had someone join me backstage and she is throwing me off. Say hi to the crowd, Lindsay. This is other Lindsay coming in to say hello. Okay. Perfect. So process rules are so powerful because it's the ability to give information. It's the ability to replicate yourself where your sales reps are working to make sure that everyone is at the same level of process following and process enforcement. Okay. Now, how do we create them? Okay. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to get a sip of water really quickly. Let me know in the chat if you are in Supered. We're going to come here in our back end and we are going to build a process rule together. Okay. I'm going to bring unmute yourself, Lindsay Smith. Bring you on in. There you go.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi, friends. We love process rules.
Would you like to walk through the audience through on how to create a process rule?
I would love to. Thought you would never ask. Let me pull that up.
Did I miss anything important in the brilliance that are process rules?
No, ma'am. You showed how they update dynamically, and that is probably my favorite part because all of us have worked with people that don't love data. Or maybe it's not that they don't love data, they just don't love the nitty-gritty of the data and having to put it in. We've all felt that pain. But
it makes me laugh because our sales reps even are like, tell me exactly what I need to do. And we use process rules internally for that all the time.
All right, friends in the audience, this is where it gets interactive. So I am going to have you pull up your Supereds and we are going to walk through creating a process rule. And I believe my fearless leader, Lindsay John here, has another meeting that I have to kick her out for. So she's gonna pop out and run that meeting. And you're stuck with me. Anyway, so process rules live under processes. Process rules are unique in the fact that they are the only supered asset that it does require being connected to the HubSpot account that you want them to show up in. So supered gives you a little bit of a helpmate here with this banner here. It does tell you which HubSpot you're connected to and if there are the proper permissions for it. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by connecting to a HubSpot account? What do I mean by proper permissions? So the way you find that is you'll come up to this drop down here and you'll go into your connections. Over in here, this is going to tell us which hub domain it's connected to, as well as if we have process enforcement enabled. You want to be sure that this says yes. If this says no, so I'll show you, we'll disconnect. If it says no, it just means that this box right here is not ticked. So make sure that you have this ticked. We'll connect it to that account once again. Choose account. Let it have permissions, perfect, and we have it enabled. So back to process rules. Let's create them. So that pink button up in the top right, create rule. If you don't have this showing, talk to your Supered admin or talk to your PSM if you're a Supered partner, and just say, hey, what's going on with my account? Why can't I access this? And we'll fix your permission sets, or your admin can fix it. So if you don't have it, let your admin know, let us know. Okay, when we build a rule, I don't know if LJ mentioned this, but process rules are only on HubSpot because we love our HubSpot partners the mostest. We are scoping other CRMs to put this on, but there is zero timeline on that of when it could happen. So, you know, it's a eye in the sky kind of prize, which I can't write a check that my devs don't want to cash. So don't, you know, it's just how that goes. So HubSpot objects, you can do it on any of the native ones, right? So contact, company, deal. You can also do it on custom objects. So we have this custom object in here for commission, but I'm going to create one on a deal. And what I love about this part of this camp is if you have a specific process rule that you want to be creating, go ahead and try it out with me as I create this one. This one that I'm doing is very simple. It's just kind of to walk us through like the motions of it. Yeah, that had so much potential and then it went nowhere else. Anyway, I think my caffeine is not kicked in yet. So I'm going to build it on a deal. Type of rule, what type of rule is this? That is talking about the color of the banner. So if I came in to a deal, so let's go into this test deal right here. It's talking about the color of the banner of the process rule. So these are the three default types that we have. So errors are red, warnings are yellow, and positives are green, right? So we're going to come back over into here, and I'm going to make it a warning. And we can also do custom process rule types, which we'll go over how to create those in just a second. Your internal name is to keep yourself organized. So internally, for an example, the way that Supered uses our process rules is we have process rules specifically for our sales team. We have them specifically for our customer success team. We have them specifically for our leadership team. And the way that we have structured our naming convention for that is team dash and then kind of just an idea of what the rule is. So such as PSM dash closed one. And then your display title is kind of like a deal tag in HubSpot, kind of looks like that. So if we came back over into this Kanban list view, it's these guys right here. These are my display titles. So you can leave it without anything in there and it will say, you know, we have one error, one warning, or you can give it a different name and it will say whatever name you've given it. So if I came into here and I left it as PSM close one, I can, absolutely. Or I can change it to yay. So we're gonna do that. Rule text is describing what the rule represents. I have had partners before get a little bit confused about the rule text versus the logic of the rule. So I do like to describe it, even if you're sitting there going, duh, Lindsay. Just in case, rule text is just going to be like the description. It's not going to set up the parameters. It's not going to set anything for the rule. It's just going to be the words that are describing it. So if I came again back into this screen here, this is my rule text. It's not the parameters, the logic of the rule. Okay, cool. Awkward silence, sorry. I have ADHD, so when things like pop up, I didn't put myself on do not disturb. So when things pop up, I immediately like, oh, shiny, I gotta see it. Just what happens. Okay, so rule text, we're gonna go with congrats, you did it. You know, simple. So if you are creating a real live one that you want to implement, put in your rule text here. So other options, you know, can be what LG just walked through with what we have on our test deal, things like that. Connected card is very useful if you have things that you want to dig down deeper into for process. If there's certain aspects of descriptions, anything like that for the process that you want to put into your connected and into your rule so you have it connected, you can do so. So again, for example, is like this one is competitions being described via a card, or providing discovery questions, providing a guide on how to do something specifically. This is where you would be able to put that in here. I don't have a specific card for a demo, so I'm not going to put anything in there. Last thing on here is disable rule. I love the fact that Supert has the ability to archive items and to disable items without having to delete them fully. So sometimes, you know, you have a rule that's being used and the habit has been ingrained then into the team. You no longer need that rule. You don't have to delete it just in case you want to bring it back. You don't have to delete it. You can just disable it. And by disabling it, it will pull the rule out when the filter, like even when the filters are matched for the rule, it still won't fire because you've disabled it. Design is specifically for that card if you did attach a card. Whereas, so if you leave this box unticked, this is how it will look. It will have your rule text and then it will have more info displayed on the right-hand side there, and it will pop out that card. And if you tick the box and you want to embed it, display it in the page, it will look like this competitions question one where it had that expand option. I think if I refresh my page, we can see it again. There we go. It gives you this expand button, which pulls the banner down and gives you that full content of the card in the page. That is purely up to you. I don't particularly have a best practice for it. I usually lean, when my partners ask me, I usually lean pretty heavily on the, you know, your team, you know, your clients better. You know, kind of how they would interact best with something. Personally, if it was my personal opinion, I like to display it in the page so that there's a little less pop-ups or clicking or anything. And in case they have to have it open, it stays open. That's just a personal preference though. Let's go into logic. Logic is where the fun starts for process rules. This is the parameters of the rule. So what you need to have met in order for the rule to show, or things that, you know, data points that are missing, what have you. So let's go through each of these. So filter is going to be your simple and or logicking. Group is your Boolean logic. So it is if you have something that A and B can be true or C can be true in order for the rule to be satisfied. And then we have association. Association is cross-object validation. So if we're looking at this test deal here, I like to call my deal record, my primary object. And then on this right-hand side, these things that, you know, that are attached, I like to call secondary and tertiary objects. So this is my cross-object validation. If we were to create an association rule, we can have it flag, say, if Brian Halligan, if this contact is missing information on it, like the lead status. I think I came in right as LJ was going over lead status. So if we came in and removed that, oh, I even went to the wrong spot. So that's where my brain's at. My brain in my head was like, you have to go to deals, but it went to companies instead. I don't know if that was habit or what, but anyway, so we have this rule here that is flagging across object validation. It's flagging on the deal, so I don't have to go into the contact to see that there's missing data points. It's all right there. So cross object validation gets really powerful with process rules. But since this is a demo, camp, webinar, whatever word you want to use for it, I am going to do a simple one. I'm just going to do a filter. So I'm going to do a filter on like the deal stage, is any of, and then we're going to go with closed won in the sales pipeline. Important to note, and I know I say that a lot, but a lot of things are important here, is if you have multiple pipelines in your portal, you want to be sure that you're selecting the objects or the stages that is in the correct pipeline. So it will say what pipeline you're selecting. In this account, I only have one pipeline, but internally with Supered, we have multiple pipelines. Like we have expansion, we've got upgrade, we've got new, net new, all of those pipelines, and each of them have different process rules that go along with them because it's different motions, right? And so you just want to be careful and make sure that you are putting it on the right pipeline with the stage that you want. You can also add multiple stages here, so it will pull up all of your pipelines as well. So if you want it to show up on closed won for every pipeline you have, you can do that. All right, we're going to update our filter. And before we hit save rule, we can test it. So it gets really helpful when you really get into the weeds of creating process rules to be able to see if it will work before like hopping back and forth, having to save the rule, going back into HubSpot, refreshing, see if it works. And if it doesn't, it gets a little bit frustrating. You go back into the rule, hit edit, all that stuff, right? So to save some clicks, Super does allow you to test it. So if you come back over into one of the objects that you want this rule to show up on, so in my case, the deal object, all you have to do is take the hub ID. So that last grouping of numbers, we'll copy it. And I think it's probably testing it, but we'll put it in here. This is telling me that the rule doesn't work. And of course it doesn't match because if we look here, my stage is in presentation scheduled. So if I were to move it to closed won and check it again, maybe. Wonder why that didn't work. Learning new things. We'll see that the parameters are met and the record matches the rules. So it will fire. So if I hit save, we're going to see a lot of these closed ones in here because I need to update my demo portal. But since we did a warning and not one of these, I know which one it is, right? So we have a congrats, you did it, because it matches our closed won status. So that is creating a process rule. We give about 10 seconds if there's any questions. And it's always the most awkward, like 10 seconds, because it's like 10 seconds of silence. And I always want some sort of, like, I don't know, hold music. But I think that would make it worse. Anyway, that had to have been at least 10 seconds. My concept of time goes fully out the window. It's like that 10 seconds of waiting time, microwave seconds, washing machine minutes, none of those are actually real. They're not real. They don't follow real time. Okay, so let's talk. So this next part is for my Super partners. So if you're a Super user, stick around. Have a good time. If this is something that you want to be able to use, let us know. We can hook you up with our sales guys. They're always happy to let you know how to unlock this next feature for process rules. And if you're super curious, hi, welcome. So how do you get these rules into your client accounts? So you've created rules and you're like, I want to be able to provide this to all of my clients. This will help all of them adopt HubSpot better, close that adoption gap, all of that. The way to do that is via tags. So tags are twofold, right? So twofold? Nah, that's not it. That was not the phrase. Tags can help you keep yourself organized, but they're also the way that you can put the process rule into a package to deliver to a client. So I don't remember what I called it. Did I call it? I called it PSM something. Yep, there it is. So when you create the rule, you can add a tag. Adding a tag is quite simple. If you don't have one created already, you just type in what you want it to be. I already have a process rules camp tag, which is what I like to use. So I'm going to tag it as PRC. And then if you need to remove it at any point, you can remove tags here. So for the sake of organization, you can create tags based off of, what kind of rule it's for, what team it's for, what kind of data it's looking out for, anything like that. You can also create tags if you are like hub specific, if there's certain hubs that you want it to show up on, what have you, right? You can also tag them specifically by client if you'd like. If you're creating process rules very specifically for a client at your partner level, you can tag with the client name. That works too. Kind of whatever works for the way that you like to organize. So we're going to save that tag. And it helps here too as well. So if I wanted to just see things that I've tagged with PRC, I can come over to that tag type and bring it down. Other ways that this is organized is by object type, by type of rule, and by statuses. So you can see your active ones, you can see your disabled ones, all of that. Now, when I go into a package, and we have a package builder camp, happens every Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. Every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Mountain. You can register for it in the same place you registered for this one. So when you go to packages and create your package, and you get to build package, when you go to add a rule, it will tell you to select it by tag. So that is the way that you can add your process rules into a package in order to deliver it to your clients. We do talk a lot deeper on delivering packages, obviously in Package Builder Camp, but also in Get Supered 101, where we talk about how you can use packages to deliver to clients and best use cases, best practices around Package Builder and delivering assets. So I'm not going to go too deeply into that. What we are going to go into next is how to create a custom process rule type. So to do that, you'll go to your settings. There's a couple of ways to get to settings. You can come to your drop down and go to settings from here, or you can click on the logo in the bottom left. So if you're white labeled, it's probably typically your logo, or if you are just one of our super partners, it's going to be the super logo. And once you're in settings, you'll come to process rules. You can see a whole lot of our testing, our PR camps, all sorts of stuff in here, but we're going to create a custom type together. I like to put in, like, obviously I'm doing it for process rules camp, so that's why I'm naming it this. Other partners that are in my book of business that have started to use custom process rule types, they typically will label it like their company name or something like that, that kind of really denotes that it's specifically for them. So I'm going to call this PRC. And my plural is going to be PRCs. So the label, what that's talking about is, again, these guys right here. So we have, this is singular, and then if we had multiple that match this, it would be plural. So testings, right? Okay. Background color. Best practice that we've gotten from our devs is to use this slider bar here, or put in your actual hex code. Reason being is if you do this drag, it can make the background very, very dark and hard to read. And we don't have a way yet to change the color of the text of the font, right? So let's find a pretty one, or one that's not going to look like everybody else's. Pink, because it's super, it's got to be pink. So, and then border color, it doesn't matter much. You can do whatever works there. And then you can change the icon. So the icon over here denotes if there's a card attached. So this one, the automatic is a bolt. So you'll always see a bolt on any of the process rules that you have attached a card to. So you can update that to any of the super included icons. And if you're a white labels partner, you can upload your own icons. So again, some of mine that have started using these have put in their own logo. Why was that word so hard for me to find? So I'm going to do this one, and what's really fun about this is it's a GIF, so it moves. We'll hit save. And to use them, it's the same as selecting what kind of process rule you want. So again, that process is if we came in here and I came back to that one we just created together, and I wanted to change that to the one we just created, we'll save that rule. It changes this right here. It will change it where you can find it on the type. And within HubSpot itself, it will change that rule that we just did. So if I came back into this test deal and we look at my yay, it will be that color. So kind of fun. I mean, really fun. And then if we wanted to look at the way it looks with the card, let me just connect a random card here. Sure, this clone me card. I don't know what's in this card, so bear with me. We'll do that. Come back here, go back to our Kanban view. And there is our custom icon, the dances. You know, it's kind of fun. So really good use cases for the custom process rule, especially if you are a white labeled partner of ours, or if you're thinking about getting white labeled. A really good use case for it is to put your logo as that, and then your logo's everywhere that your client is looking. Like they immediately think of you, all of that. So it is a really good use case there. Okay. That is building a process rule. That is custom types. That is how you get them into a package. That is how tagging works. That is all she wrote, guys. Perfect. I haven't seen any questions come through in the chat. We'll wait just a little bit for any last laggard questions. If you do have questions that come up afterwards, never fear, you can always hit us up over in Super Jam. We're always happy to help over in that Get Help channel. If you are not a part of Super Jam, let me just drop that link to join real quick. I clicked the wrong button. It's fine. Here is the link to join Super Jam. Go ahead, join us over there. We have a really great community going on. Everybody is always kind of happy to help answer questions, hop on any process rule questions that you may have, or any other super related questions. Go ahead and join that. That was definitely 10 seconds of me vamping, so I don't see any questions. So thanks so much for spending your time with us today. I know there's a lot of draws on time these days, so I do appreciate your time spent with us learning about process rules. And of course, as always, stay awesome, stay strong, and stay super. Bye, guys.